Welcome to Idaho Today. I'm Melissa Paul with the holidays behind us, and we're looking at achieving our resolutions. The key to it all is holding yourself accountable to stay on track. So in this week's Mom Matters, we talk with nutritionist Erin Green about eating habits and how you can make your resolution a little easier to obtain. What about moms that find that their list of tasks is just really long? It's like Santa's, list right now for the holiday season, right? The list of gifts is just so super long. What
and it keeps growing, right?
And it keeps growing.
It just never ends.
Yes, no, it's true.
Yeah, so pausing, taking some breaks is really important. Also, I would say get clear on what is really important. I think I even do this where I'll put things on my to-do list, like this is a thing I want to get done, but if I start getting this out of control to-do list, and I can actually feel it when it starts rising in me, like this physical sensation that
totally.
I'm getting overwhelmed.
You feel heightened, right?
Yes, and I'm like, okay, it's time for me to really just trim out what is critical to get done. And how do I focus on those things? And some things fall off the to-do list, and guess what? Nobody's ever called me and been like, Erin, you didn't get this done. So I think sometimes it's showing yourself grace and recognizing there are very few things that kids and your family will love for you to do above giving them your time. So if you can give them your time and attention, that to-do list is going to not seem so overwhelming. That's like the core.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. Not only do I feel like my belly is going to be full, but so will my soul.
Yeah.
All right, what about asking for help?
Oh, I love this one because you can actually involve your kids in helping with building snacks and even like stirring things, on the stove or something with meals. Kids will learn about foods this way. It gives you a little bit of a hand in the kitchen so you don't feel like you're always trying to, put things together. I've worked with families that rotate around. Maybe they've got teenagers or, school-age kids that rotate around. Okay, it's your turn to build the snacks this week. And so together you sit down and you kind of plan the grocery list. Sometimes you can use a digital version so they can just add things. Everybody in the family is added on the grocery list. They can just add things on the list, and so you have it when you go to the store. Or they can accompany you to the store and do some fetching and stuff. So just asking for help, and then beyond that, really ask for help from extended family or a neighbor. If you have, a support system, I hope every mom has a support system. That's one of my hopes for everybody is that you can ask for help and receive it when you need it.
Yes, and then lean in too when somebody else needs it, right?
Absolutely.
It's just kind of that building that beautiful relationship. I want to talk about what to eat, right? Because you're saying sit down and eat with the kids. If you do have some children who are like some challenged eaters, like you had mentioned, taking that time to explain and be a great example of like what's healthy to eat, what not to eat. Help us kind of navigate that a little further too, right? What are some things we should be targeting? Because what if some parents just aren't familiar where to even begin with that?
Yeah, and I actually get that a lot. I don't even know how to build a meal. So to boil it down to the simplest terms that I educate people on, at least 3 food groups. Get some color, get some carbohydrate, and get some protein. If you can build a meal around that, doesn't matter what it looks like. It can look like a meal to just you and everybody else would kind of think it's an odd combination. That's okay. Just start with the basics and cut corners where you can. Salad kits, pre-cut veggies that can just be easily steamed, or, even like whole meals and entrees that you can just pop in the oven, but then maybe some frozen vegetables will accompany it. There's lots of ways you can make it easy for yourself and still make it nourishing. We live in this Pinterest, Instagram world where everything needs to look beautiful.
And it has to be perfect.
Yeah.
Right? And if you can't do it fresh, then it's just not good. So why even try?
And expensive ingredients that are, no. We have to start very simply here. If you have the time and desire to go a little deeper and further into building meals, knock yourself out. But let's start with getting it sustainable and simple for your family. Always have something that's kind of a familiar or friendly food at the table. So especially for little kids that might be, you mentioned kind of challenged with trying new foods and eating a variety. If you can have a familiar food like bread or potatoes or pasta or something, and then maybe a few other items that are maybe not so familiar, I'm not sure if they're going to eat this, at least the child will feel kind of like there's this safe food on the table and maybe a little more willing to try a couple bites of something else. And again, if you're modeling it for your kids, they're more likely to become familiar with it and try it themselves.
Okay, I love this. Thank you so much, Erin. I'm
Yeah,
hoping
you're so welcome.
that moms then are taking the time they need to sit down, make sure that they are nourished, but they're also setting that great example for their kiddos too when they do so, right? Erin, thank you.
You're so welcome.
Appreciate
Yes.
you.